It was at around 11 a.m. in January here in Nairobi. And remember, here in Nairobi, the sun is usually hot in January. I was seated at a client's site 2 months into Navision, and I was almost ready now to start receiving serious requests. And yes, the serious request came, and this short lady, dark lady, putting on an African printed shirt with a little bit of some green prints, came straight to me and told me her request. She was the accountant, and she said, so we would like a process where we want to pay customers from an expense GL account. So what she said is that, okay, we have different amounts that we have already inputted on the customer card, so we know how much they're supposed to be paid. So I want you to, that's her language now, please now debit the expense account and credit the customer. We want the customer to have the money, and then also now we want you to debit the, what did she say? She wanted me to debit the also the customer again now for the charges, because there are some charges that the customer needed to be charged, and then I credit the income for fees and charges. Okay, GL account. Just at that time, I started shaking and shivering, because the only thing that I knew was I can debit and credit one entry. I knew that I needed one general line. I can do general line .init and insert for a debit and a credit separately in a very clear way. But when she started mentioning the GL accounts, the expense accounts, and then giving me numbers, this is GL number 001, this is GL number 1010, this is the expense GL, and this is the fees. And then she said, you also need to debit the customer and credit the tax, because this payment that you're paying the customer, they need to pay tax, and it's a batch payment, so we need a process, like a processing only report that will run and do that particular payment. Oh my goodness. So she wrote the request on a piece of paper. I thought maybe she had realized that I'm an intern, or probably that I'm really new in this language, and she left it to me and walked out. I was seated there with the IT person, and the query was, how do I go about it? I only knew that debit means positive, credit means negative, and the example that I did for debiting and crediting was so tough. Now I knew it's a one entry, you debit one and credit the other. So these were many entries that had different requirements. And she said, now also look for some customers with outstanding payments. Go check customers with outstanding payments. Remember, she's not showing me anything in the system to show me where the customers with outstanding payments are. If you have a customer with outstanding payments, go there, debit the customer again and credit the income for the payments, so the customer can pay, so that the customer can pay. And wow, that was when I realized that understanding the accounting part, or understanding what you mean by when you say that you're debiting and crediting, leave alone just debiting and crediting with the GLs, just knowing that yes, debit this GL and credit this GL, understanding that yes, this is an entry, how it's affecting this customer and where it's supposed to be affected is so important. Little did I did not ask more questions. I wish I could ask, okay, which customer, where can I see the amount that needs to be debited and credited, which GL are we affecting, and how is it going to be affected. So if you are probably having a challenge in debiting and crediting using a L code, this series is for you. It will help you debit, we will do what this particular customer asked of me. We'll have a customer or several customers. They have their entries. We will debit and credit. We will debit the customer and credit, and be able to see the ways that we can use to debug the debiting and crediting. At times you may find this GL is not balancing. Where is the problem? How can we handle that particular aspect of the application? Mastering debiting and crediting or posting entries via code is one skill that will go a long way in helping you become a very efficient or a good AL developer. Please stay tuned for this mini series.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe and ring the notification bell so that you don't miss the next one.